So here's an out-of-box review of Monkey Works 1/24 AWing. Overall, there's a good amount of parts, looks like a couple dozen or so. There is a set of instruction sheets, but they are kind of shabby at this point. They will be required later though. There's a couple parts where I'm just not sure where they go or how they go together. So let's take a closer look at some of these. So this is a resin kit. The detail on the body is really great. There's a couple scribe lines that are kind of soft, but for the most part, this is pretty freaking awesome work, that's for sure. Every little rivet hole there is properly aligned. Nothing is soft. Any flash that does occur on the kit is negligible or very minimal, such as on this piece here. There's no pits, bubbles, voids, no surface blemishing as far as scratches, dents, or anything like that. This particular kit, I don't know if it's going to show up, but there is a tiny little bit of crack right there. Chances are that is a result of what this kit has gone through. And this has gone from America over to England and now back to California, so it's got to be a good 10-12,000 miles this model has traveled already. Detail on a lot of the smaller pieces is really minuscule and meticulously done. There's a cockpit tub here, all the parts for that. The pilot is pretty cool, a good size. I brought out the studio scale TIE fighter here just for size reference. And if you stick this little pilot in here, I don't know exactly how close to scale that is. So maybe one is a little too big or the other is a little too small between these two models. I can't really say. Again, the parts are really great. This is probably the biggest example of flash going on, and I want to be really careful with this and not really touch it until I get the proper directions going. This looks like it's a double piece of canopy, so again I got to figure out what the instructions have to say about that. And there's this buck here that was supplied for the canopy, and I'll find out what that is for later on. Bunch of little decals here, which is pretty cool. They get some really minuscule detail. I don't really want to open up the package here, but maybe I can shake some of them out of the way of the others so we can see what's going on and get some focus. No? Well, each of those little corners there says danger, and there's some other details in there that I can't quite make out. Several of those though. Here's a couple more with warning markings basically. So I think that's it for most of the parts. This kit was designed to be lit. So back here in the engine there's already holes for the LEDs, and there's an LED that goes here into the control panel. So let me tape this up and I'll get back to you in a second. Alright, so here it is taped up. Doesn't look too bad, and it's definitely a good size. Again, going back to the TIE fighter, this should be about 14 inches long, it looks like, somewhere in that range. So I sliced up the canopy just a little. Pilot fits in, that's a really good size there. The cockpit tub itself is really well designed, just slats go together, and that's pretty much that. Flipping it around here, if I can, real gentle. These fins are a little warped. Don't know that there's too much I can do about that. Here, wait a second. I was getting some bad exposure problems there. So as I was saying, the fins themselves are thin enough that they're warping. I don't know if I'll be able to replace these with styrene, but otherwise it should be okay. I can flatten out any kind of warp like this top one here has definite warp down its length. I should be able to fix that with a little bit of heat. And it looks like, yeah, I mean, everything fits together really well. That engine piece in there looks really nice, and that's going to look real convincing once there's a light on it. These end rings just fit in by pressure. Those are really well sized and designed. I managed to get all that crap out of the canopy here. That was definitely a trick. Something to be careful of when you're doing this, if you get one. One thing I'll mention here is the guns, and these are essentially worthless. They got to be built with brass. As you can see, they're just twisting along their axis all over the place. That big one has that distinct slant down, and the smaller one slants off to the side. So I know the original masters for these were built out of brass, so it looks like, ooh, this gun's even worse, it looks like. So I'll just have to rebuild these entirely. And it looks like I'll be slicing that canopy plastic, slicing that canopy plastic in half. But overall, I'm really happy. This is a well done kit. It's under $200. It's definitely worth the cash for that if you're a Star Wars fan. If you like this ship, it's definitely worth picking one up. It's a great size, hefty. The design and the workmanship is definitely top rate. And I guess that's about it for this box review. So take care. I'll catch you later. See ya.